human experience. Lately, when I close my eyes and journey within, it's always about the human experience. It comes back to this awareness that this is an experience. And just as much as everything is an experience, when you're meditating and when you're journeying or astral traveling, or even in your everyday normal life, all the different experiences that you can have, this is a human experience. And what comes with that, and the hardest part, sometimes the hardest part of this soul journey is being human, is enjoying all aspects of what it means to be human and not seeking escapism through, let's say, drugs, alcohol, work, money, sex, gambling, shopping, scrolling, commenting. Do you know? And we can engage in all those things, but not to use them as an escape. And then for those who are interested in pursuing and do have a spiritual practice, for want of a better word, escapism through meditation, through astral traveling, through journeying, through all of that, and how can we really appreciate being human without the needing to escape? I mean, we came here. You came here. You decided to come into that vessel that you're in, that body, and have an experience, and many experiences. And we spend so many decades trying to escape being human, what that means, and all the feelings that are involved. And perhaps there's guilt, and perhaps there's anger and unforgiveness. But when we put all that noise aside, or when we turn all that noise down, there's a subtle, very tangible, very subtle level of awareness, level of communication. There's a very connection that we have to this earth and everything in the earth and everything outside of the earth as well, in the universe, in the galaxy. I've spent so many years trying to avoid being human, and I don't know why. I really don't know why. I think when I go up a mountain, or when I connect to the sun or the birds or whatever, I feel whole and I feel complete. And then an hour later I can try to scroll on YouTube for a song to soothe my soul. What is that, That's part of the human experience, and love is always calling it back to itself. Love is always calling itself back to itself. And I think that if it's the willingness to surrender into love, into wisdom, surrendering into this field of peace, not to get anything, not to experience anything, just to be in it. Do you ever cook a beautiful meal, and as you're eating the meal you're thinking about desserts? You're not even eating the meal you just made. Escaping. No time for pausing. And the Buddhists have a lot to teach, they really do. I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not anything. I have done so many things, and I have been so many things, and I could call myself any makey up thing that I want. I could have a makey up fantabulous thing about myself, and I could share it with the world. But really, I'm none of those things. And on the flip side of that, I could have a makey up version of my story and the woes and share that with the world, just like each of you. So which card are you representing about yourself? What are you broadcasting? What are you representing? What are you identifying with? So I have a story, but I'm not my story. Like, my daughter turns around to me the other day and she said, "Mom, I'm going to stop calling you like a mom. You're just Biba." Because when I think my mum, it puts you in a kind of box of a mum box, but you're so much more than that. So even though you're my mum, it's like, no, you're Biba. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I really do know that. I learned something many years ago. A lady came to see me when I was in the Christian church, and she was feeling very overwhelmed. She had children, a husband, home. She had a job, and she was feeling so overwhelmed with responsibility and life, and she loved everything, but it was too much to carry every day, the workload of all of it. So we sat down, we had a cup of tea in my really messy house at the time. I think she was quite shocked, because she just probably thought, wow. Anyway, that was an eye-opener for me, that I need to make more of an effort in my home. And in my awareness of her, like, observation of my environment, which there were kids running in and out all day, that type of a home. My daughter and her friends would just run rampant in the house. and cats and animals, loads of animals, dogs and rabbits and mayhem. However, we sat down and I put aside her uncomfortableness with the environment. And I said, I want you to take a moment I want you to take off the mum. So I want you to put your mum, imagine they're like ornaments and there's a mantelpiece, like there's mum. Take off the mum. And now take off the daughter and the sister and the wife and the employee. All of the labels that this world has given you and you've accepted, I want you to take them all off and put them over there. And I want you to sit with me as you, just as you, before all of that. And she just cried and cried and she said, I've never felt such relief. I didn't know I could do that. And I said, you're not a mum. You're not a daughter. Those are just names, but those names come with huge expectations from oneself and from others. And I think in order to have a more enjoyable human experience, we can liberate ourselves from labels, from names. And so I used to be a vegan, an animal activist. I was in recovery, for everything, by the way. Anything I could find, any label I could find, this is 30 years ago, I would take it. I'd say, I'm all of those things, because I didn't really know myself and I wanted to identify myself with something. I wanted to be able to express myself through something. When I began painting, I thought, I'm not an artist. Because I can't paint at will. It's like an inspiration that comes. I think art does that. So I'm not an artist. I write, but I'm not a writer. I work with people, but I'm not a healer. I'm not a hypnotherapist. I'm just me. I'm just there. With my daughter, when she was very young, she taught me how not to be a mum. She would say, I don't want you to parent me. This is very young. And I would say, oh, you don't want me to be a mum. So how do I do this then? How do I parent you? And she would say, just don't tell me what to do. I can't stand it. When my teachers, when my dad, when anyone tells me what to do, I can't stand it. And it wasn't a brattish response. It was a real soul, listen to me. And then instantly I was given a telepathic image or an idea of, and I was in a tribe, and in the tribe I was by the fire, and I was telling a story, and all the young folk were around the fire, and I was just telling a story. Are you coming back? Did you make your mind up? You're just trying to get my attention. And Bingo's been my partner for the last 15 years. We're very close. So I said, I have a plan. You might like this. And I showed her a picture of the Native Americans. And I said, a long time ago, there was the tribes and there was no real parents. People would have children, but the whole community would help. But there were these elders, and these elders had a lot of wisdom. And when people needed assistance or advice or help, they would go to the elder and the elder would help them. The elder would never go to that person and tell them what to do. And she said, I like that. That feels really good. And so she taught me not to be a mum, and the relief of not having to be a mum. Just what goes with that, and is my parenting good enough, or am I getting it right? Especially when you bring a kid up on your own, you're like, you've no one to bounce off. So you're thinking, she didn't ever go to school. I didn't send her to school after she was 13, and I let her do what she wanted. I let her discover her intuition. And I remember one day I thought, whoa, I'm really trusting my own intuition here. I'm just letting her be. But it worked out really well. I honour that. Come here, you. Are you serious? I'm talking to nobody here. I'm talking to this laptop. I'm talking to nobody, right? So think for a moment, or allow yourself to be. Go for a walk and allow yourself to be nothing. I own a business, but I'm not a boss. And I say that to my staff all the time. I'm not a boss. So don't expect me to fix everything, or don't expect me to tell you what to do. Or in order for you to work with me, you have to be able to work as a team. Hive mind, as a team, to work together to assist each other. Because if you can't, and there's a lot of pulling and drama and school behaviour, then I have to become a boss. And when I become a boss, I become a bitch, because I'm very intuitive and I see what needs to be done and I see all the little games. And I didn't say that to them, but I don't want to be a boss. I have a business, but I don't want to be a boss. So I'm not a boss. They love it. They are a brilliant group of people that just, they got it. They're like, got it. They don't expect anything from me. other than the running of a business, and I don't expect anything from them other than them to enjoy their job. That's it. So there's a lot to be said about labels. I remember years ago, if I met somebody I liked and we were going out and it was really nice, and then all of a sudden the word marriage would come into my mind. And that word would contaminate the relationship because the expectation of what that means, it's labels. So the human experiences, you are a soul traveling through this universe having experiences. And right now I'm experiencing a Biba. And the Biba has discovered that she doesn't need to be anything. I don't need it because I'm not looking for approval. I'm not looking for acknowledgement. I used to, absolutely, like we all do, definitely. I'm not looking for those things. I'm really, really, really not looking for those things. I'm not looking for anybody to tell me I did a good job, or that's great, or you're great, or well done, and I get that anyway in life because I have lovely people in my life and we support one another, and the work that I do is very supportive and those people are beautiful, and so I've invited that into my life. When I stopped needing it, it came. When I was looking for validation, it came in ways that didn't mean anything to me. It's like when somebody has an eating disorder and they look very skinny, like their legs would be skinny, like arms, but they look fat to themselves. So no matter how many times somebody says you're very skinny, they don't see that. And one day they do see it and they're like, whoa. It's like they wake up from the dream of what they think they are. So you're not your story. You are having a human experience. And for those of you who are going through a challenge, the challenge is a teacher. And the teacher is you. It's your highest fractal self in this universe teaching you, training you, assisting you, loving you. I had a habit of bad eating, and not that my diet is bad, but just I would never have limits, or I just eat what I want when I want. I have a fast metabolism, so I can do that. I eat what I want when I want. I've had it my whole life. But at night I realized that I would eat and then I would wake up tired because I would eat too late, and I couldn't break it. I just couldn't break this habit. And I'm thinking, I'll do it this month. And years roll in. And then I just hear my friend Tara, who's a samurai celloist over there in Australia. And she said to me, Biba, I'm doing a 40-day Vipassana and I'm doing one meal a day. And fasting is the key to creativity. She just texted me this and she showed me 2 paintings that she made. Exquisite. Just the frequency of the words and the art it went right in, and I said, that's what I'm going to do. And so this February I decided to do that, and I'm in the process of that. 1 meal a day. It's so easy. You just eat 1 meal a day. Now I got to tweak it to make sure that I get what I need and I'm not eating too much in my meal or too little, but I'm changing it up because I wasn't enjoying the experience of feeling defeated by myself. Why could I not get a grip on this? How can I not get a grip on this? How can I get a grip on so many things but not this nighttime eating, unconscious eating, go for the biscuits or order a takeaway, or even a nice bowl of fruit with yogurt and honey. I don't need that at 8 or 9 in the evening. I've had my meal. Unconscious eating. And well, actually I was very conscious of what I was doing, but I didn't have enough desire to stop it. So I stopped it, and I feel different is all I can say. I just feel different. My thoughts are different. My thoughts are so different. I am creating space to allow this human experience reveal itself to me. I don't need to chase it. Something's always going to come along to do. I don't need to go looking for something to do. I'm enjoying the space in between the doing. The space in between is what I'm after. It's not the doing of anything. The doing shows up. I've created that. I attract to myself everything I want to experience, so I don't need to go and figure anything out. But what I do desire is to enjoy those moments in between, whether it be a day, an hour, a moment, a week, a month. And it's the space in between where creativity is born. It's the space in between when I accept, because I have the spaciousness within myself. And the last journey I had with somebody, the lady who came to me for a quantum healing, I call them journeying within. She went into the space in between. the universe of creation. And I said, what does it feel like? I said, I know that place. When I do quantum healings, that's where I want to be, in myself. I want to be in the space in between, in the vastness. It's not anything. It's just that, it's that place before something is born. It's that place where, it's just that place where you want to be. And she said, I'm in the space in between. And no one's ever said that in a session. I'm like, yeah, I know exactly where you are. I know it really well. What does it feel like? And she was saying what it feels like. And then she said, witnessing is a form of creation. Stillness is a form of creation. Observing is a form of creation. And the silence is a form of creation. It's not always in the doing. And her words were reflecting my awareness of where I'm at in my own life. And so I just wanted to share that with you. It's February. It's an incredible, beautiful day here in sunny Ireland. I'm going to go up a mountain now. And I went for a walk yesterday, and halfway through my walk, I just tuned into it, that being of the earth and the trees. Like, she's in everything, right? She's in the water that you can hear. She's in the birds. She's in the air. She's in the building hammering. Like, she's in all of it. And I tuned into that, and I just cried. And I cried maybe for 5-10 minutes. Very gentle tears, but it was a release, and it was a relief. So today I'm going up the mountain to be in that space in between. Not to go for a walk, not to get exercise, because I don't particularly want to do a lot of exercise, because I had a very rough night's sleep. But yeah, I wanna connect in that space with her in her natural habitat. Yes, I love you, and enjoy being human. Enjoy the human experience.